Hello, Motivated Vision family. I want to pop in today for a little chit chat. Now, this is going to be a couch chit chat. I'm just relaxed on the couch today. But I wanted to come in and talk about a doubt that I've been having and kind of a fear, but I'm getting better at it and praying about it and everything else. I mean, so I come here all the time. I share my quotes and my thoughts and everything else, and I write and everything else. But some years ago, I was thinking to myself, like, why don't I, since I love to create, why don't I put my words on things and, build a business out of it and make things like, t-shirts and different stuff, etc. But then I had like a doubt and I was like, I feel like God like gives me these words and gives me this motivation to motivate others. And do I really, feel good about making a profit off of it, of like turning it into a business when really, I always felt like it was a purpose. And I just been back and forth with myself and back and forth with God, like, is this something I should do? Because this was just an idea years ago. And, I don't want to make a profit off of, something that I felt like, God bless me what that was a purpose and, you know, turn it into something just for me when really, it's for others. And, I start to think to myself, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't think of it as something as negative. Maybe I should think of it as something as positive, as like, okay, it's an extension of me. It's an extension of, what God gave me to motivate and everything else. Because I can still do these things the right way. I don't have to, you know, overcharge people or do things like that. Like I can still have values. I can still, have a message. I can still put it out there just in a different way. And yes, I'd be charging people for it, but I can still keep my values into not overcharging people and to not only, make a business out of it, but also make a brand. Because honestly, I feel more like a brand anyway. And because there's so many things I want to do. And, so many things I've started and everything else. Like 7 years ago, I started writing a book and I got pretty far in it and I haven't finished it yet, but that's something I want to do and be able to publish and publish other books and take my quotes and stuff that I write and make it into a book. And not only that, I'm also in the works of doing the different things of putting my words on different items and merchandise and stuff like that and just not being fearful of it. But I mean, and sometimes I still kind of like get my doubts and stuff, but I got to pray through it. Like, God, if it's something that you don't want me to do, God, if it's something that I should not do, then everything is in your hands. But, I feel like this is a part of an extension of me serving people and motivating people because I think of it like, when you go into a store or, you wherever and you see things with a quote on it or whatever, like you have an emotional attachment to it because you relate to it. And I feel like that's what I do too. But it's coming from me. Like I'm making items and stuff like that with my own words on there. And first and foremost, give it to God because God give me these words. God give me these talents. God give me the talents and the gifts to motivate and inspire and write and come up with all of these things. And, I had to work on myself in my mind of not, feeling bad about it because of doubt or whichever. And I was like, God, like, look, I won't do this if you don't want me to do it. I won't even touch it. I won't, I want to still keep my values and still, serve God and serve people and motivate because I love doing it. I love writing. I love motivating. I love, inspiring and things like that and being creative. I love all of those things with a passion. And, now that I've figured out like it's more of a purpose, I want to treat it carefully and, you know, treat it with respect. And everything I do or everything I produce or whichever, I bring it to God like, God, should I do this? Should I do that? You know, I don't want to feel like I'm doing something that's only profiting for myself. I want to serve others and serve God and make everything an extension of what I already do. I'm not trying to be like anybody else. I'm just trying to be what God created me to be because I didn't have to go looking for a purpose. I didn't have to, go looking to see, oh, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. These things are already here. And if I make a t-shirt or a hoodie or whatever, or whichever, I already have the material. I already have, what needs to go on there or what I need to say or whichever. Like I don't even have to copy anything else that's already out there or, whichever. I don't have to do that because, I'm already have the creativity. I already have the words and everything else. And, I just had to pray to God and I just had to just go back and forth with myself about it because I'm like, I don't want to do anything that I shouldn't do. But I also want to be able to take steps and, take the plunge and not let doubt stop me and everything else. So I was like, God, like, look, if this is just doubt, it's just doubt and we going to get rid of the doubt. I know, God, that you'll bless anything that I do because I'm not just serving myself. I'm serving you. I'm serving others. And I know, God, that if it's something that I shouldn't do or whatever decision I make that you don't approve of, you'll let me know. But, you know, I've been taking the steps to go ahead and do it. I've been taking the steps and like really getting serious with it. And, I've done things before of like trying to start little businesses and stuff like that. And I always wasn't into it. I always wasn't into it because I felt like I was doing what everybody else was doing. But this, I'm not doing what everybody else is doing. And this feels, so much of me and an extension of me and an extension of God and everything else. And there's so many other things I want to do. I'm learning and praying and every step of the way. But, I still every now and then, like, I question myself, like, should I do this? Should I make the brand? Should I make the business? Should I do that? And this and that. And, I have to a lot of times put it out of my head, like, if you keep doubting and keep worrying, then you're not going to do it. Like God got you. If it's anything that you shouldn't do, he'll close the door. So that's where I'm at, building, learning, because I've already said before, I don't know anything about business and learning. And I learned that I feel more like a brand than a business. Because like I said, it's so many different things I want to do and just see where God take me. And I know it's so many other people out there that, probably feel like I do too. So, let's have faith in ourselves and faith in God that we'll make it through. But I just want to come in for a little couch chit chat and, you know, this is the start of my journey, and just keep everybody in the loop of the start of my journey of me starting a business, starting a brand, and really horning in on that. But this is a little quick little chit chat, and like I always say, keep your mental healthy. I'm gonna keep mine healthy.